In a development that has ignited intense controversy across the Middle East, Africa, and the wider international community, a senior Somali government minister has publicly alleged that Israel is pursuing a plan to displace Palestinians from Gaza and relocate them to Somaliland, a self-declared autonomous region in northern Somalia, a claim that has immediately drawn sharp reactions, denials, and widespread concern due to its profound political, humanitarian, and legal implications, as the allegation comes amid Israel's ongoing war on Gaza, the unprecedented scale of Palestinian displacement, and mounting global scrutiny over Israel's long-term intentions for the territory. With critics arguing that any attempt to relocate Palestinians outside their homeland would constitute forced displacement in violation of international law, while supporters of the Palestinian cause warn that such proposals echo historical patterns of population transfer that have long fueled conflict and instability in the region. And according to the Somali minister's statement, the alleged plan would involve coordination between external actors and regional authorities to resettle Palestinians in Somaliland, a territory that is not internationally recognized as an independent state and whose political status remains deeply contested, raising immediate questions about feasibility, consent, and legality, as well as the impact such a move would have on Somaliland's fragile political balance, its relationship with the federal government of Somalia, and the broader Horn of Africa, a region already grappling with insecurity, poverty, climate stress, and ongoing conflicts. While Israel has firmly denied any such plan, dismissing the allegation as baseless and politically motivated, yet the claim has gained traction precisely because it aligns with long-standing fears among Palestinians and Arab states that Israel may seek to permanently alter Gaza's demographic reality by pushing its population elsewhere under the cover of war, humanitarian corridors, or reconstruction schemes, a concern reinforced by past statements from Israeli politicians advocating the voluntary migration of Gazans, language that critics argue masks coercion under conditions of siege and bombardment, as international law experts emphasize that displacement carried out during armed conflict, especially without the genuine and informed consent of the affected population, constitutes a war crime and potentially a crime against humanity, adding urgency to calls for transparency and accountability, while Somaliland's inclusion in the discussion has added another layer of complexity, as the region has spent decades seeking international recognition and stability, positioning itself as relatively peaceful compared to southern Somalia, yet remains economically vulnerable and politically sensitive to any proposal that could dramatically alter its population composition or entangle it in one of the world's most intractable conflicts, with analysts noting that absorbing large numbers of displaced Palestinians would strain Somaliland's limited infrastructure, social services and resources, potentially triggering local resentment, regional instability, and new security risks, particularly if such a move were perceived as imposed by foreign powers rather than negotiated with local communities. And beyond the immediate regional implications, the allegation has reignited a global debate over the future of Gaza and the rights of Palestinians. As governments, human rights organizations, and international institutions grapple with competing narratives of security, sovereignty, and humanitarian responsibility, with critics arguing that discussions of relocation distract from the core issue of ending the war, lifting the blockade, and ensuring Palestinian self-determination within their own land, while proponents of alternative resettlement ideas frame them as pragmatic solutions to Gaza's devastation, a framing that Palestinians overwhelmingly reject as an attempt to erase their connection to their homeland. And as the story continues to unfold, the Somali minister's claim, regardless of its ultimate veracity, has underscored the depth of mistrust surrounding Israel's wartime policies, the vulnerability of displaced populations to geopolitical maneuvering, and the ease with which unverified proposals can inflame tensions across continents, prompting renewed calls for diplomatic engagement, independent investigation, and adherence to international law, as observers warn that even the discussion of relocating Palestinians to places like Somaliland risks normalizing the idea that displacement is an acceptable outcome of war, a precedent that could have far-reaching consequences not only for Palestinians but for conflict zones worldwide. And as international pressure mounts for a ceasefire, humanitarian access, and a political solution that addresses the root causes of the conflict, the controversy surrounding this alleged plan serves as a stark reminder that the future of Gaza, The fate of its people and the stability of distant regions like the Horn of Africa are increasingly interconnected in a global landscape where war, migration, and power politics collide, making clarity, accountability, and respect for human rights more urgent than ever.